7.
I'm sorry. Back to number 7. Item number 7, consider and take appropriate action regarding mud building office space. Kevin Carr.
Is that, hold on. The reason I put this on here is it kind of has some history to it, and I'll try and roll them all into one. The town in 2004 built an annex for their expanding staff. Adrian and Mike are still at that end. When we split up the accounting, Renee moved over to what I call this side and that side, the fire station side. And we still have 2 stragglers over there, and I think this is the appropriate time to move them so all the Mud District staff are consolidated into one side of the building. Terry came on. She took the office right to the right of the desk here. Renee, as I said, came over. IT is shared, so we still have the server room, but I think this is appropriate time to move our people. Obviously, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but this property from the fire station all the way around the back where the tank and police station was bought and owned, still owned by the MUD, the district. You people in MUD 1 district own the property. The town has been basically, you know, rent-free since their inception of 1986, I believe. No rent. They share the cost of the building. They opted to build the annex in 2004. They took a $650,000 loan out, and in tying this together, we were paying rent without an agreement. So the second part of my motion is, number 1, give Jennifer direction to move Mike and Adrian over to, so all the MUD 1 staff is consolidated, and number 2, cease paying any rent, which we shouldn't be paying rent. We own the building, and there's no contract interlocal government that binds us to pay the town rent. Somehow it got started and no one caught it. It's been caught and it needs to be resolved. It's only $1,000 a month, I believe. They took a certificate of obligation out in 2004 for $650,000. The payoff, it'll probably be about $1 million with the First National Bank, and that was to build the annex on MUD 1 property attached to a MUD 1 building, which that I have no idea how they did it, but they did it. So my motion is to give the district manager direction to take whatever appropriate actions to work with the town manager to move Adrian and Mike to consolidate all the MUD district employees so they're all in one area, and to cease any further payment of the monthly, I think it's a little over $1,000, is that right? 1,068 or something?
It's $1,098.51.
98, okay. Cease that payment since there's no interlocal agreement in place that binds us to it.
I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Now do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a couple of questions. You know, Kevin, I remember back when that money thing occurred, and didn't give it a whole lot of thought since then, but I think you're absolutely right. I don't know why we're making those payments. Should not be. And there's absolutely no agreement in place to do that. I totally agree with you on that. Now, the only question I've got in discussion phase is, Jennifer, I'm in support of consolidating all of our people into one building, but how do we do it? I mean, you know, you got Mike sitting down there, you got the city, Patricia sitting there, you've got April sitting there, you've got town finance sitting there, and you've got the staff on finance sitting there. They all occupy offices. The only way you can do that is somebody's got to move to the other building. How would you do it?
Can't we just let her go with it?
Well, I just would kind of be curious to know how we could even pull it off.
We were able to put Terry at, you know, in an office where a copier was.
Yeah.
You know, we built the wall in the break room, so I'm sure between Jennifer and Mike, you can relocate 2 people to have 2 offices open up.
It would, I mean, there would have to be an office swap. I think if that's what you're asking, because Terry took the last copy room available, so we would have to do a swap. I want to kind of say Kevin had asked me actually for many months when he reviews the financials, and it was only really this month that I've had time to kind of look into it very closely. And I asked Renee and Lori. It's started with Lori to look back, see if we could find any kind of agreement, because Kevin's question was, why do we pay this rent? And my assumption was there had to be some kind of agreement. And so we looked and looked. We really didn't find anything. We found some minutes where an ILA was referenced. At one time, one of those months, it was actually on the agenda, and the district manager asked that the board table it that month. Then the few months after that, it mixed into the manager's report, but we never could locate where there was any action. Well, I still felt like, well, we wouldn't be paying this if there wasn't some written agreement. So I asked Renee if she could check with the town staff and see if they might have had a copy of the agreement. And actually, Patricia did have a copy of this ILA that I passed y'all a copy out, but it was never approved by either the council or the MUD board. So I don't know what happened with that. This was like 2006, I believe.
Well, what actually happened, I just happened to be the chair of the master district when that happened, and Director Sanders was the mayor of the town at that time. And one of our directors, I believe it was Mr. Henry, he raised a flag because, again, the MUD district owns this land. The town does.
Building.
Excuse me.
Building.
Yeah, this building. We built the fire station. We own that, and the town really doesn't own any building other than the pool over there. I think is the only building they actually own in the town. But the easiest way I can say it is, it's like me coming to your house, building an addition onto your house, and then asking you for the deed of your house because I built a building attached to your house. And in this agreement, it was it said, I think it's 2.01. The cost was $650,000, $1,040,000, and they wanted 77% ownership of the building because they said, oh, well, we're paying 77% of the loan that they initiated and then asked us to participate. And that's where, I guess, the roadblock came up. We were not going to give up the district property that's owned by the district customers 77% because they built a building on the other side of that. So that's where it stopped at. Is that what you remember, Jim? You were
So anyway, there is no agreement, but I will say that I worked with the town manager and with the staff when we were back in the beginning of the fiscal year when we were budgeting, and at that time I had no idea that there was not an agreement, and I did agree that in the budget to pay the cost of the rent because I thought that's what we did. I will look much more careful at any kind of agreements like that this year when we're budgeting, but I would like to ask that we continue through this fiscal year just simply because it's only a couple more months and we did agree to pay that through the year. But as far as the actual moving of staff, I will get with the town manager tomorrow and see what we can do as far as that goes.
Did we agree, or did you agree?
we voted on the budget, so we agreed technically.
And I guess really technically I agreed, I guess, but I mean, only because it had always been budgeted and I thought that there was an agreement. And then you all approved the budget, so you agreed too.
You tricked us. That's what you did.
I guess so.
But I think she's right. I don't think we should be.
I'll
pulling
amend the
plug
motion to
year.
continue the rent payment for the remaining fiscal year, 12-13.
As part of your motion.
Yeah, I'm amending it. The second needs to approve it.
Will you second that?
Why don't you repeat it, Kevin?
I amended the motion to continue the rent through the fiscal year 2012 to 13. So
But then s-
basically till September 30th.
But then stop at that time.
That's through the end of 2013.
I agree with that.
Any further discussion? It seems logical to me that, Jennifer, that with this direction that you and Mike can work something out. It doesn't seem right that that our people are way down at the far end of what the town considers their building, and they are in this area up here close to where all the mud people are. It looks like it would be logical in some way to work it out to where, in your discussions with Mike, that we can do this swap, and I think something has to be worked out in that regard, and so if this gets approved, then the obligation is on you to try to work something out.
Yeah, I think-
Try to get something done.
Correct me if I can ask Greg, isn't Patricia part-time? Yeah, 3 days a week, okay. But she's a contract worker, is that correct? Yeah. She's not a employee, she's contract?
She's paid through payroll.
She's an employee.
Okay.
She used to be contract, used to be hourly, used to be
Okay.
4 days a week, but I think during the time I was on the council that she was made a permanent employee. Well, Kevin, I think she
Okay.
is a permanent employee.
But she's here 3 days a week, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we've got a motion, we've got a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. Okay, Jennifer, that's just gonna have to be worked out, and I'm sure you'll be able to handle that.